Afternoon, everybody. Sure that. So I don't really have much planned today. Really don't. I had to go take care of something, which kind of sorry, I got a little warm in here. Kind of messed things up for that. I don't know why my Streamlabs keeps coming in here. I will need to change the chat rules. Actually, I'm going to see if I can try to do that right now. While we're live. Yeah, basically, we're just going to be chatting, talking, having a good time. If you guys do want to have me either react to anything, I do have the camera ready. I just don't have it on right now. Either topics or pretty much anything. Honestly, really anything, of course, that's appropriate for Twitch, of course. Things that are not so appropriate for Twitch, we can always discuss that in the Discord appropriately. But I'm always all for talking and about different things. If I can find the rules here. Here it is. We're just gonna copy and paste this bitch. Review. I'll need that. Period there. There we go. Make sure reading any messages. Nope. So yeah, nothing too crazy today. I was talking in the Discord just earlier about Ark, and probably we might do an Ark server, and of course what mods to like more along the lines of modifying Dinos mods. One was of course Extinction Core, Endokunai, Primal Fear, and I think there are a few others. Let me pull them up here actually. Find the damn thing. It was in Jam Chat, right? Yes, here it is. It's funny outside. Pug in the Sea. I think I only used that once in the past. And I think it was Ark Eternal, which I've used. But again, those last two, the last ones I just said, I haven't used it in a really long time, so I don't know how much they changed with. And it seems all it seems all my mods are out right now. What's even funny is they used to come around all the time, and the moment I gave them mod status, I have not seen one show up. Not because I gave them mod and they disappeared. More or less, you know, they have shit going on in their lives, of course. It's just funny on how the timing and all that was going on. Also, if you're new here, welcome. I do games. I do also do podcasts. I do have one podcast. I do want to do another one. Named The Lost. I think it's the Lost of the Value System. I don't think I have a actually I don't think I have a link from my Twitch of my YouTube. But of course, my YouTube name is Dres. Not pretty easy to find me. Same face and everything. I have a few kind of videos that I kind of done there, mainly clips, as well as of course a 2 hour long podcast. You have to listen to the whole thing. No, if you want to take a listen to, go ahead. If you want to post any kind of comments, thumb up, thumb down. It's always nice. Subscribe to it. Uh, I do plan on doing more in the future. More likely when cause I'm right now in the middle of taking care of schoolwork, so we might do more podcasts since they seem longer, but they take up less time in a way. Because 2 hours for me games for a 2 hour gaming session, that's not really enough time to game. So we'll probably do that. I do want to check my, because apparently Streamlabs is now my moderators, which that never came up before. So I'm gonna see what happens when I lurk. Nope, that still comes up like that. Okay. So, so any of the viewers here, do you guys have any? If you guys have any suggestions, just throw them out there, or in the Discord, and throw them in there too. In the podcast area. Actually, I want to move myself to the podcast VC. So it really doesn't matter really where you post it. I just gotta find it. Any topic is really appropriate. I may actually change the just starting scene here. Here we go. We're just kind of chatting. Don't take too much notice to the donations. I was testing my donation stuff because they were not going through, and it was because they were not linked properly. And I always thought that I linked them. I think they were linked, just not in the right way. My Streamlabs, for whatever reason, the chatbot within Streamlabs doesn't work. I actually had to redo my chatbot. I had to get a desktop version because the other one did not work, which I don't know why. It just stopped working. I would type in the command, I would get nothing. I also don't know. But as always, I'm always excited and looking forward to New World. I really am. I gave a few keys out. I think about, it's been a month. It's been a few weeks. Time goes by fast. Yeah, you can see my face. Let's look at the camera. There you go. Now you can see me. Even though I'm gonna keep looking this way because for whatever reason, now I think that'll happen. So I am looking forward to that. I'm really excited to play New World, and pretty much we're gonna be playing that for most of the time. So I'm trying to tie in all my small and playthroughs of games and such now because once September 20th comes, which I may want to double check because it did change it. I hope they don't change it again. It's Humankind. No turn-based strategies. The only strategies you need is real time. So turn-based are nice though. They have their fun. Nope, September 28th. We still have. We have. A whole slew of my friends. Either they have it, or they are. Or they want it. Oh, okay. They do use Easy and Teachy. I did actually realize. Okay, yeah. I just not realized that they do in fact use Easy and Teachy. I always have to use something else. It's funny on how New World, with a large budget, they still use Easy. So I think what we're gonna do I was looking through here to see if I could find anything where we could actually react. Oh, wow. So I think okay, that's what we're gonna do. All right, how long is this? 20 minutes. All right. So I can pull this up. All right, we're just gonna. So this video I'm about to show you guys is from a really. How long is? How old is this? So it's 3 years. Okay, so it's 3 years old when it was last posted, and this was actually used in one of my sociology class, which I actually had a really big issue with. Not with this video, but with my sociology class. It wasn't good. It it was really it portrayed everything in a really bad light and not in a correct light. There's more light. There we go. Like they use statistics, but the statistics weren't right. So we're just gonna kind of sit, talk about this because no one has posted anything. Where is the change? No, okay, it's like oh, you can just get rid of that. There. Perfect. Hope that looks good in your guys' end. So this is called "Can You Be in Love with Multiple People?" So I only watched so far of this, and I had to do write a whole paper of because uh, I have a few issues not only with the people themselves. I have a few questions for the people, but also for the people who are asking the questions. I don't think that they asked the questions correctly. But of course, we're going to go over that. We're going to, of course, do this until someone posts a different topic. So let's see what they have to say. All right, I'm just going to read the first few subtitles here for you guys. We brought monogamous, I can't talk, and polyamorous people together to spark dialogue about differences and similarities. Which is nothing wrong with that. I actually am all for with people just talking about different, not really the pros and cons, but yeah, where the different, where the similar at. I actually like that. Now, interesting thing, I just actually just now realized. As you can see, there are two women and one man on one side, and the same thing, two women and one man on the other side. They more than likely did that on purpose. And this way, it's a relatively, because if you have like two men on one side, in whatever way it wouldn't be semi equal. It's this way. It's a relatively equal uh, population. It's kind of like using it because they're only using 6 people. It's kind of like using statistics, but the population is only 6. But at least this way, they're equal, as in there's a testing group of 2 women on each side as well as 1 man on each side. So I can see why they probably did that on purpose. Yeah, but I'm gonna do this a lot. Sorry. So before we go into polyamorous, that's a really generalized way of saying things because in normally Western society people are monogamous, whereas in other places they're not. And actually, it's kind of like the Amish. They actually have the men have multiple wives, which is very. I mean, if you go back through history, there's very few times to where the woman will have multiple husbands. But you'll see all over history where they'll see men with multiple wives, and a lot of people and I know Freshman Finn actually discussed something like this, where women will share their partners. Multiple women will share one man. But when anytime multiple men share one woman, that's sometimes when things get have issues, and that's mainly because men are very territorial, and of course, in a general sense, men are territorial because men seem to be more as predators, and that's why they're there's a reason why when in general speak, they would say this is my woman. That they're laying claim by just using small things like language like that. Very important to pay attention to. And say this is my woman, and that's just the woman. They use my woman. All right, so I'm gonna let this go for a little bit. Okay, another thing, love. We're gonna discuss this. Um, I did. Okay, so I actually did talk about this in my report. They were talking about platonic love, what they just said there. Platonic love with like, I love this job, I love this food, I love this kid, I love my friends, and you say that platonically, and that's one of the issues is we use the term love way too much, way too loosely, and of course, polyamorous would would use that term and say, here's the thing, they're using the term love wrong already. They're already using it wrong. Not what they they believe is wrong, but the fact that how you describe do you love this. First of all, being in love with a person and being in love with a job, 2 whole different things. And that's where the issue comes into. Well, first of all, this question was asked properly. Now we have an issue, but these people aren't understanding the terminology of because they're polyamorous. The term what love is could be skewed because because you love multiple people, just like you have loves of different foods. You don't usually when you love one food, but you always eat that one food all the time. You get sick. So that's kind of one of the issues already is they already don't have a proper enough definition of love. Continue. No, no, it's not polygamy over time because no, nah, that's not how it works. It's still one person. That's what monogamous means. Definitions. Yeah, yeah. Let's just keep going. And apparently we're gonna have an ad. Oh, that's a big one. That's honestly that's a big one. A lot of times when because relationships take effort, like a lot of effort. And that's not just like relationships in general do take a lot of effort. It's not just romantic relationships. It's relationships with your job, relationships with your boss, having connections with people. It all takes effort. It really takes a toll on everyone else, and it does take effort. And it's a two-way street. If you don't put in effort, then the other person probably isn't gonna put in effort. Someone has to put the step forward, foot forward first, and it takes effort to do such a thing. Yeah, yeah, it's true. Divorce. I mean, divorces are low, but again, that's almost. I think it's a red herring, and a lot of times divorces happen because they rushed into it because. But before you start throwing out a divorce, okay, be a divorce, okay, but you gotta go. Well, how long were they together? Did they have sex before they got married? And yes, that does actually take into account. Uh, how long did they date before they started having sex? So those things all do take into account, because if you don't build a good relationship on actually knowing the person and actually knowing the emotional, and you just go straight into sex, well, then your likelihood of breaking up and having divorce, if you do go long enough, because a lot of young people, that's what happens. A lot of young people will just jump into a relationship, have sex, and think, oh, okay, I'm in love, and then because there's still all oxytocin in their head, because they're still riding what they call it, puppy dog love. They're still riding that high all the way to the courthouse. They sign the papers, and after 5 years or so, it's between like, I think 3 and 5 years. They say that's when the average, that they fail. But that's why. But normally, if you pass that time, then you're less likely to get a divorce. And it's probably because you guys like, well, okay, okay, I'm with this person. You know, love transforms into things and admiration and things like that. But if it's just pure out of sex, then yeah, you're gonna be disappointed, and now, well, you're gonna be out some money. But it does take work. That I will give to them logically. No, I'm not gonna. I'm not taking sides. I'm just taking apart because a lot of these talks sometimes they have issues with knowing certain words mean what, and people aren't. They don't know what word or how words should be actually used. We're gonna get to it. Trust me. Sometimes this is gonna be a long. So we're just gonna. I do want to post this in the Discord, so just bear with me. There we go. Okay, back to this. Yes, but you can't use that same logic, because that means if you can flip that and tell the monogamous people you don't know poly until you try it. So she was really good, but her logic was just slightly off on the end point. I'm cherry picking at this point. I can tell you right now, an open relationship more likely means mostly sex. They're right, it's not all sex. There's that word in there, all, but it's probably mostly sex. Because you don't get fulfilled. You have friendships that have that, but if you actually want to be finding a partner, there's a good chance. Again, this is using the Western model again, not an overall sense, because then it it turns to about of, well, depending where you move the scope of things, because depending where you move the scope at, you could be actually you know socially correct, socially not correct, and it depends on where you're going within the world. And we're going to go with overall again. 95. It's probably not 95. Like 85 or more percent of the population is monogamous. More than likely. Not saying being poly is wrong. Just stating some facts again. Freshman Fit actually I know Freshman Fit have their podcast. They do actually really good work. You guys should check them out on YouTube. And a lot of their stuff, again, they post out data. That's correct, actually. She is correct on that part, where it is definitely the minority. And I still don't think you. Again, I'm not a parent, but I'm pretty sure that you don't love, even if you have like a bunch of kids, you don't love them equally. Because I'm pretty sure you love them in different ways. It's a different way. You can't really rank it like this. I don't think it's ranked that way for children. Not like this guy's a favorite. I'm pretty sure. Again, this is in a healthy family. I'm pretty sure it's this way, and they have their own ways that way. It's not ranked 1, 2, and 3. we're just gonna go over the fact that how narcissistic that is. And one, I mean, you should already know that he wasn't talking about that. And being at least being in love with another person. And it's just mind-boggling that you actually would say that, because that kind of comes up with some issues on going, well, that's probably why you have issues, because you are in love with yourself, and your theme of your life is. That's probably why you are divorced. I'm not saying that it could. I mean, not saying it is. Just saying that could be it. And I do have 16 plus years of reading psychology books, and other things like that. Most of the books behind me, you see on my shelf, are psychology books. I have a few above me as well on the side. I also do like to read papers and, of course, listen to lectures as well. But again, I'm in that way. I'm also committing a fallacy from a philosophical standpoint. So, all you can do is take what I say with a grain of salt. But the question was really generalized, and I probably would have worded it better. But it's on both sides. You should be able to understand when you say you're in love. It should have some weight to it. I'm in love with this person. It should actually mean something, and not something you just take very lightly. It's like, I'm in love with this job. Completely different when you just say, I'm in love with this person. Completely different. You're not going to marry your job. I mean, there are definitely some people who technically marry their job, but it's a little different. You're not going to have sex at your job. It also, now again, it depends. Now, if she's with a guy, of course, most guys, when they say, yeah, you can be with other girls, yeah, they may find that sexy. Most guys will probably just say that, but there's not many times where a guy will think that's sexy if he's sharing her with another guy. That might be a different story. I could be way out of park, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. But so far, they're not wrong on building themselves, making themselves better with the people they're with. You can do that with any kind of relationship. So in that abstract, all of them are correct in that instance. Okay, now that's an interesting question. So let's just go over this question. We're 5 minutes in. We already know it's gonna be a fun topic. Buckle in, everybody, and get a cup of coffee. We might need it, or booze. There's a good reason why most people are monogamous. That's an interesting question, because again, the reason why he asking is because this is a Western society question. This isn't a Eastern society or any other kind of society. And this is also modern day society as well. Because the question is also phrased a certain way too. As you can see, it doesn't say, "Is there a good reason?" It's not a question. It's a statement. As you see, there's a period. You see a period right there. There is a good reason why most people are monogamous, and mainly, because it takes effort. Now, if you think about it, if you want to do be purely poly, you have to give the same amount of effort if you want to be fair to everyone. That's exhausting. It really is. It's exhausting. I don't know how some of these people do it, of course. And don't be afraid to just throw in some chats and comments. You go ahead and interrupt me. It's okay. I don't know how they do it, but one of the reasons is because we pair bond better with one person when you actually do date them, have sex with them. There's a reason why, and it's because the more people you have sex with, the higher your body count is. Every time you have sex with someone new, you give a piece of yourself up to that person every time, which is why people who have a lot of sexual partners, they have an issue pair bonding with others, and then of course they eventually wonder why they can't connect with people. That's why, because you basically gave up so many parts of yourself that you're no longer you. You're this kind of not really shallow or hollow, but you're not who you once were, and you just kind of gave yourself up, and now you're wondering, well, what happened to me? Well, you probably went a little too fast, or normally it's about anything past 5 or so. You start, you guys can start to sense an issue. Not really an issue. Issues not the right. You can start. If you're really introspective, between 5, it's about 5. You can eventually start feeling part of yourself fading a little. And I didn't really answer the question, mainly because it's a statement. First of all, they should make it a question, honestly, and then have them answer the question. I think that would be better. This way, it challenges one side, and it makes the other side actually have to answer the fucking question. And then you actually could flip it and have them define what their what it is, and have them try to figure out what it is, and then they can actually fill in the blanks. That's what I think they should have done. I kind of want to go back here. There we go. But there is a good reason. Again, I don't know why it's phrased like this, because he's saying that there is, in fact, because when you say that there is a good reason, you're saying it almost as a factual statement, and then you disagree. Again, it should be more of a question. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. I got nothing else to say about that right now. You dicks. No, I'm not getting paid for these ads, by the way. Okay, I think he's coming over, but if, interesting enough, not everyone came from the Magnum side. Only one person came. So again, there is a reason why, and I think it's interesting on how every you would think that everyone would say, like, well, I think there is a reason why. Well, yeah, there should be plenty of reasons why you do a lot of things. I mean, there's always a reason to something, and they need to dig for it sometimes. But there's normally always a reason behind it. Doesn't have to be logical, but there's always a reason. So again, I'm probably reading too much into it. So we're just kind of I digress. Yeah, I have to agree. Drez does not share well. No, he does not. Okay, he's coming. I'm doing this a lot. Actually, being jealous is healthy. Now, again, controlling jealousy is the main thing. That's really what it is. It is if you act on jealous thoughts, you're gonna have trouble. Again, I mean, she's saying it as if being jealous is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a very normal thing. It's merely about where would be the best word. You can't act on it. If you act on jealous thoughts, then you really are just gonna have issues. And I mean, and that's why you sometimes have situations where you do have, like, again, crazy boyfriends, crazy girlfriends doing shit to people because they're jealous and they're acting on it instead of dealing with it in a healthy way. Actually, Jordan Peterson actually did discuss about jealousy as an attribute. And the reason why I'm saying all these things is so in this way you can actually go and talk and look at their either their podcasts, their lectures, and it's also a way of me actually not giving credit to them for some of the things, but I'm kind of repeating you guys, but also kind of citing what I know. So in this way, I'm not. It's not just coming, me. It's not just my sole idea or anything like that. It's also their ideas and their thoughts. And if you think I'm wrong, go listen to all their stuff. This way, we all have an understanding where I'm coming from as well. I mean, you can be jealous of your friend. It's fine. I mean, if you're with your buddy and, like, I don't know, where he gets like a really cool. I'm a streamer, so it's gonna go with me. Like, a buddy of mine, he got like a massive partnering deal working for some company. So now he gets paid a crap ton of money. He gets a lot of free shit, just to promote it and things like that. I would be jealous of him, but I don't have to act on it. It's perfectly fine to be jealous. Or you go, oh, look, there's John Smith. He just got a promotion. He's twice as much. I'm jealous of him. Okay, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. It's acting on it is a problem. Ooh, bam, right there, right in the fucking head. That, honestly, he said it. It's perfectly fine, because if you're with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever, and they're talking to somebody, and like they haven't like talked to you a whole lot. Like let's just say they didn't talk to you for like a week. It's probably crazy. Let's just go with it. And now they're talking to somebody else. You're gonna feel even just a small amount of jealousy. It's like, hey, what the fuck? Because I know I felt that, but like, why are they not talking to me? It's perfectly fine to have that. Now, he said it's beautiful. I probably wouldn't go that far, but he's not wrong. And I mean, that's still not a bad way of saying, because in a certain way, it is beautiful. Again, probably cherry picking. So okay, all right. Thing here says, I think monogamy is a practical choice. So let's see what he says about practical choices. I'm actually really interested in what he's going to say about this. Oh, she says. Oh, there actually you're wrong, because actually if you go back far enough, actually people were actually more poly than monogamous. And I can't talk. But what the difference is if you go back way farther, like let's go with like the kings and queens. Of course they always have their mistresses, like the kings. They always have their wives and mistresses, and but it's always frowned upon when he had them. When he went, even though it's really weird. You knew that they had them, but if he was caught with them, then it was an issue, and it makes you kind of wonder. But depending again, it depends, because if you go hundreds of years, everything was, of course, done through by religion. So of course, Catholicism more monogamous. Islam, if I remember correctly, I think they're polygamous with multiple wives. I think that's how it is. I don't know. I'll have to double check that. But shit, there's multiple groups that are polyamorous, and again, socially, it is acceptable and fine. It's when you have monogamous and poly, and you have overall, most of the people, because once you get so much, of course, you're going to have a few outliners over here, or over here. You're always going to have that. Once you get a large enough people, you're going to have outliners and delinquents. Delinquents not in as they're bad, but more but in the terminology of they're different. That's it. There's outliners of a difference. Where 65, because the bell curve goes like this. If you follow my hands, 65 to 95, and of course, that leaves. Because it goes like 95. So that's 5% total of an outliner, which is 2.5 here, 2.5 here. So so it's perfectly fine to be poly, but the issue, of course, is not a lot of people understand it, or it doesn't, or it seems weird, because we in a Western society we are seen as we are more polyamorous, and how a lot of our structure is set up, especially in America. It's definitely more set up that way, more for monogamous than there's poly. And practically speaking, she is also kind of correct, because kings. I mean, you back then, of course, years ago, you didn't marry for love. You didn't. No one married back then for love. For the kings and queens, the princes and princesses, you married for power, or to take care of. I mean, it really was, when you married, it was more likely it was for some practical reason. It was to stop a war, for a treaty, or anything like that. Oktoberfest for Germany. The reason why is because it was a marriage between two two kingdoms, and they threw a big fucking party, and it was so big they called it Oktoberfest. It was so big that it basically became, I think it was like the 1300s. It goes back farther, of course, but Oktoberfest kind of, I think it was like 1336 or something like that. Or it was around it was 1300 something. Uh, it became a big party, and of course now every year, the Germans celebrate Oktoberfest as a big party. In America, well, we it just gives us a reason to drink beer because we America's not big on abuse culture. We like to steal abuse culture and culture. That's how Americans work. Anyways, but practically speaking, she is correct on that sense. Years ago, of course, now today everything has to be about happiness and love, which both are kind of very subjective things. Again, she's right on that, and that's actually a really. He's going to bring up actually another interesting topic about why we have one friend. But again, this guy, I right now, I just have a huge issue with him because so far, now he's going to bring up a good question, but it makes you also wonder. Well, first of all, the guy is in love with himself. I mean, the others have no issue. I have no issues with him. It just makes you, one, I have no issue with the others. It's just his. There's definitely an issue, mainly along like how he can't connect with people. And there's probably a reason for that. It's probably because he's so narcissistic because he's so in love with himself. Listen, there's nothing wrong liking who you are, but when you say about being in love, if we just kind of go with that blanket statement, and he's saying that he's in love with himself, that's full on narcissism. That's what it is. And can you be in love with a narcissistic person? Yes, you can. Is it hard? Oh, yeah, it is. Because they mainly care about themselves. A whole lot more than they care about you. You're just in for the ride. And that's what makes it hard. I'm not saying it's wrong. Not saying, you loving them is wrong. But it makes it hard. Stressful. And whoever does it, kudos. Before she answers, I want to see if I can beat her to it. Again, loving someone, being with someone. Here's the thing: you're not having sex with your 10 to 20 friends. If you are, you might have problems. Pair bonding, we just went over that. 500 Facebook friends. Again, you're not having sex with them. And those are things that you have to. I mean, you just can't have. He's trying to group friends and loved ones all into one category. You can't do that because you treat your dog differently than you treat your cat. Cat has different needs than dog does. Same thing as you treat your wife or your husband differently than your kids. And even then, you treat your son differently than you treat your daughter. And of course you have if you have your friends, you treat your friends differently. Like, because it says my wife or my husband, they're my best friend. Okay, you have other best friends, and you treat them differently. Then you don't have sex with your other best friends. So he's trying to group them all together, and that's kind of an issue. And he keeps trying to group them all together, and you can't do that because that's the wrong mentality. as I want to add to that, again, spending time. If you spend time, you know how hard it is to spend time with multiple people and be intimately spending time with those people. Not saying about sex, but I'm saying just get to know each other. You know, it takes time. That's why you were married for like 10, 50 years and know everything about them. You can't do that with. I go 3 or 2. 3 or 2 other people. I can't go 1 because that that's the same. That's monogamy. Like just go like 3 people all involved with each other. That you have to deviate your time instead of going focus time on one person. Now you gotta cut whatever time you do give this one person. Now you gotta cut that in half. Again, that's if you want to be equal. And it's really hard to be in love with somebody without ranking them. And if you have a primary and secondary, then clearly you love this person more than this person. If that's the case, then why are you with this person? What does number 2 do? Why is number 2 there? Or is it the fact that you have commitment issues? That you just will not tie yourself down to one thing. One thing you have to again you have to ask is how these people's how long are they in these relationships? I mean, all of them. How long are they in there with their jobs? How committed are they? And as I said, they're in LA, and they just said, we're with a bunch of jobs. Well, normally people who stuck with one job is probably because they're committed to that one job, and there are people who are very strong commitment, and because of that, they can have they're normally with one person. Or people who are polyamorous, they have they don't stay committed to one job. They're always kind of job hopping. Now it gives them a really nice rail round amount of experience in different fields, but they're not a master of anything. Jack of all trades, but a master of none. So I'm seeing what he's trying to do here. Is again we're going with trying to compare them, and he's not completely off base. I might be biased on this, of course, but I mean we're not talking about we're talking about a strong connection with somebody, and it just makes you wonder why yeah, he has that best friend, but there's also more like a good chance that he may also go to his wife first as well. But like is a primary partner. Okay, well, you don't have sex with your best friend. They're very closely related. They really are. But instead of kind of like this, they're kind of like that, where they're very close to being identical. Where like you have like a primary friend, but it's not really a primary friend. Your best friend isn't really your primary friend. Your best friend could just be someone that you've known for a really long time, and that's the only reason why he's your best friend, or they're your best friend. Whatever. We're not going to get too much on semantics. Whereas the person you live with, that's the person you live with and you pair bonded with, because you can only go so many people. I mean, there are very few. I mean, there's some people where once they pair bond, and that person, passes away, they don't marry again. They don't date again. Where you lose a friend, there's a really high probability because you're gonna have a lot of friends. You're gonna have lots of friends that are gonna come and go. Because not all your friends that you made years ago are gonna be with you today. But there's a good chance that if you found a wife young, go away. If you found a wife young, okay, just go quickly. If you found a wife young, more than likely you're gonna stay with her, and be there with her for rest of your time. Whereas if you're with multiple partners, you're. I mean, if one walks away, you go, okay, well, I always have this one. You always have a plan B, and it's more lackluster because it's almost kind of like it's not really as special because if you have a collection, you go, well, I like all these things equally. Well, that's great. Once you lose one, I still have. Let's go. I have 10. You lose one. Now you're down to 9. No big deal. No big deal. But you have the one. That's a lot of value. And it's about valuing the person as well. If you have multiple people, you value them. You value them differently, and the value is distributed. Now, I'm all for diversifying your portfolio, but I don't think you should do it with your relationships, romantic ones, of course. You always have your friend. You always have multiple friends. Like I have friends who I play survival games with. I have strategy game friends. I have shooter friends, and some we do all together, and some people they only do strategy games. They only do this. And they only do survival, and I like them differently in those areas. But of course, they're my friends, and of course, if I stop playing with that one person, like we something happens when we stop playing. I'm gonna find more people to play that area with. That's okay. But when you're with a romantic person, it's a whole. I mean, the value system is much stronger, especially when you're with that one person. You have a much stronger value bond with them than with multiple people. I don't know how you can even remotely, deviate your time. And of course, remember all the special days and shit. It just seems like a lot. And a little expensive for Christmas. Christmas seems expensive. That I'm just adding that in. It's that last part's a joke. What kind of question is that? What a shitty question. Let's just go over the fact how dumb that is. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, everyone has the same fucking reaction as I do. Like, what the fuck? There it is. Alright, if my partner wanted me to, I would consider going to the other side. Again, dumb. That one, bad question. Just worded awfully. It could awful. Could have been worded better. For those who don't know, the other side would be like an this panel in a way, where they would just instead of being poly, you'd be monogamous. So basically, if you're monogamous, I can't talk. If you're mono, I'm just gonna say mono. It's easier for me, and I can actually convey what the fuck I'm talking about. So struggling over words. If you're mono, and they go, you know what? I want another boyfriend. Isaac's like, I want to date another guy as well as you, or date another girl. And of course, most guys are gonna go, oh, you're getting another girl. Why the fuck not? Sounds like fun. Where no, of course, again, a lot of guys, of course, would be, no, this is my girlfriend. But that goes way back. Where the polyamorous, that comes down to a commitment of committing to one person. Thinking. Just one person. Is that it? Okay, so basically everything you talked about so far has been just completely just off of feelings, which is fine. But just say that. Don't say at this time. You don't need to. Because, yeah, of course you would feel that. When you feel something, you can't feel something in the future, and you can't feel something in the past. It's all emotional. Emotions are present. That's the only thing. You can't feel anything unless it's at this point. You can think ahead. You can think even in the past. You can even attempt that. Because, thinking ahead, that's what I say, thinking ahead, it's called planning. You can't feel ahead. That just makes honestly no sense. Just that's just frustrating to me. It really is. That at this time I feel this way. At this time I feel something different. Well, no shit. Of course you'd feel that. I felt different yesterday than I did today. It's the same thing. Honestly, it's the same thing. It's crazy. What? No. Everyone's relationship between two people is entirely different across the board. What you're seeing is the stereotypicalness of you should. You don't have to. That's the interesting part about it. Is oh, it's February, Valentine's Day. You should or you need to get flowers. No, you don't have to. There's plenty of girlfriends where they don't give a fuck about Valentine's Day or the other dumbass holidays. That's perfectly fine. You know, and sometimes for depending on what kind of person they are, just getting them or getting them nothing, or just treating another fucking day is better than making it some special thing. Because here's my question: if it's so special, why is it on this day? I mean, or you treat them so special? Well, shouldn't you treat them special every day? I mean, what makes this day so? Because this thing has no symbolicness for Valentine's Day. I'm saying Valentine's Day has nothing special between the two people, and it should only be between if it's like your anniversary, that's something big between two people. Their birthday for each other, okay, I can see something special. But Valentine's Day, what has to do with anything for their for them? Again, within their confines of their relationship, and and you don't have to obey it. You don't. That's over. Well, first of all, they're called deal breakers, and it depends what the deal breaker is, because a lot of times sometimes it's really basic shit deal breakers. Well, this should be basic thing, but again, some people are really different, and it's okay. Probably because the person that they wanted to be with wanted them for themselves, and she's like, "No, I want to date other guys," and they didn't want to have none of that, which is probably why, she didn't do it is because she wanted to see other people, where he wanted to try to lock her down. Open can be derived as in many different ways. So you usually have to, expand on that thought process. You just can't go, well, it's just open to discussion. Well, okay, first of all, again, when you're talking to your partner, you want to make sure when you say open, that actually means open discussion or anything like that, and not just open. Because if she tells her man, I want to be open, he's going to take it the whole different way. It's that simple. I'm not for it. I know I couldn't do that with myself. That just shows some level of, respecting yourself and your values instead of just because something like that would eat at you. So you just gonna have to just take, uh yeah, there's certain things a person should be lax on in a relationship. Truly, and it's okay to be lax on certain things, or to give and take here, but like that, choosing between, your partner wanting to be poly or mono, that's a pretty big deal. Or I'm sorry, yeah, if they want to, they're in a monogamous relationship and they're like, I want to see other people, not just, us breaking up, but like I want to see other people as well as you, and then you're gonna go, well, I can't do that, and then you have to just, you have to eventually make that, because if you know that you can't do it emotionally, then more likely you're just gonna have to just walk. That's your only option, and that would be the healthiest thing for you to do. It's gonna probably be one of the hardest things you can ever do in your life. One of them. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it's gonna be very hard, especially if you're very close to that person. Walking away from that. And if you can actually still be friends with them, that's okay. I of course would disagree. I always am against, being friends with your ex, because that stirs up issues. But supporting them and stuff like that, then again, there's nothing wrong with that, and pushing them to be the most who they are, and there's no hard feelings. That's perfectly healthy and fine. So, yeah, that's probably the best thing you can do. Uh, now, no one has ever told you what love is, because love is a defined thing, and I mean, it's really hard to well, it's not just like, well, we're just gonna redefine love. Why? Especially when you want to define love, as in, it's kind, it's generous, it's thoughtful, doesn't get angry quickly. Uh, I'm actually quoting Second Corinthians, but which is probably one of the best definitions of love. To be perfectly honest, but you have to understand. We have to also think. Well, why do we have to define what love is? Like, I mean, like romantic love. We're not talking about, where everyone says like I love his food and like that. I'm actually talking about like the really, you know, the real love. What goes on up in here as well for a certain person, to where literally when you love someone so much, when they finally pass on, it basically kills you. That's the thing. It's like it's a tricky something. Uh, Basically the physical heart gives out because of loss. So there's so much loss and grief upon you that your heart literally just gives out. It's wild. Uh so you have to wonder why. Well, why do there? I'm pretty sure there is a strength, probably, of if you lose one person, you always have a backup plan. So it's really easy to deviate your feelings, and in this way, you don't have to, you never have to feel rejected. You never really have to feel a loss for something as much, and kind of dulls the pain of everything else. And when you do that, it also removes the value. It's kind of like giving a kid $500 or someone $500. It's quite a bit. But if you give them $1, they're gonna cherish that dollar. You're seeing children, you know, uh, of course, if you treat people, again, this is as if the person has value of the dollar, if they value the dollar. If you're just born into wealth, you don't value money all that much. But again, if you have a very selective amount, then you of course value it much higher, which is why probably people value their multiple partners a lot less, and that's not because they like them less. It's because you have less attention per person. You don't have so much time in a day per person. You can't build a strong again within the healthy confines. You can't beat the one person and then the multiple. If you have your best friend, there's a reason why. Even again, this actually does work in this instance where you and your best friend know each other way better than your other friends. There's a reason why. It's kind of like synergy. No one tells anyone to love. It's like you see people going around like, well, you need to love this person. First of all, why are you having them telling you how to live your damn life? Why? If you choose, you should actually define what love is as well. But you should also do it, for dumbass reasons as well. I'm of course always for should be monogamous because I think it's healthier. And of course, they said sex, even it's safer, sexually, which is always a very big deal. So I am definitely biased, and that's fine because everyone can have their bias. It's also acknowledging the bias. And it makes you wonder. Crap! I just lost my train of thought. It makes you ponder why are they monogamous as well? Because personally, I just wonder why are they monogamous? That is a general idea, because normally from a general idea I kind of understand why, but from a personal level, I would want to know why. Oh, I know this, but you shouldn't have, there's certain things, love does have certain constraints, but you should also have your own personal definition of what love is, and I would hope it's relatively close to what actual love is, and not just what the world's fucking telling you. It's like, well, you need to love in this way, because normally, and what a lot of people do is they love when you talk to especially older people. It's a very generalized term, and that's what what should be. It should be fairly general and fairly broad, but again, can't be too general and broad because then you overuse it. Like, I love this food because everyone does it. Everyone overly uses it. Even I overly use it. I try not to use it, or I try not to overly use it. And I actually did discuss this in my. I actually did discuss this in my discussion actually, as the overuses of the term love and the devaluing of the term love. Back on track. Yeah, this was in 17. I really fucking doubt that. Oh boy. Oh boy. A good sex life is necessary for a good relationship. Uh, yes and no. It depends on what you mean by a good sex life. It really does. Because it's not entirely necessary as well. Because normally, again, using the data I found, if you're in a monogamous relationship and you're more connected with that person, the sex is far better than with strangers. There's a reason for that. Because, well, you're connected with each other. Whereas if you're just having sex with multiple people, even if you're poly, it doesn't matter. Because you don't have the same connection. So, I personally cannot answer this question. I actually would have to go with someone who actually has been in that type of relationship. Or in a relationship. And none of my people that normally would chat are not here. So, sadly, we just have to move on with this, and I'll just kind of listen to it and see what they have to say. Oh, now that's interesting. That's very interesting. I wonder why he didn't. Okay. First of all, you shouldn't lust after anyone. There's a reason why it's a deadly sin. Uh, yeah, because lust is just blind affection. That's not even affection. You shouldn't have to lust after somebody. That leads to nowhere good. And if sex dies and you're like, again, I know what she's about to say, so I'm gonna let her say it and then I'll speak. Okay. Yep. Yeah. If your sex life dies and you break up because the sex is bad, then that's not good because that more likely means that your entire relationship was built off sex. That that's what I was kind of afraid of with that question is they're gonna maybe they didn't take it right, but if you're saying I literally just said that just like 5 minutes ago, so no, oh goodness, no, it's been like 30, it's been like 45 minutes ago. That was like a 20-minute video, Jesus. Uh, if your sex life is built, if your relationship is built off of the sex life, then it probably wasn't a good relationship in general, and that's what I'm just gonna leave it at that. Moving on. Thank you. Yeah, there's a reason why sex isn't hit the top five because everyone realizes if sex gets old, you can do you can you reinvent things and respice things up, and that's how you make and just this the journey of doing that with your partner is actually what will actually rekindles the fires, not with the new action or whatever you did. It's the journey, and that the journey itself is actually the thing that actually does it, not the destiny. Everyone always says it's not the destination, it's the journey. And that's almost everything. The journey is and the roads you take very important for relationships. Now, again, so far we have two polyamorous people. Again, we're just using this as our test area. But so the poly people are high and their sex drive, and of course they admit high libido. Sorry. it doesn't shock me that he's like this, because so far everything about him has been just, what's the word I'm looking for? What am I looking for? Emotionally driven. I mean, not. I mean, like overly emotionally driven. Like everything about him is, and of course, when you're sexually, like when you're like really, when you have a high libido like that, that means your impulse control is like that big. You have like almost no impulse control, which is why you bounce all over the place. And if you don't even have even the smallest amount of uh, because you need, I mean, humans are better off when we are in a routine of some sort, and we that's how we mostly do our things. Is we like our routines, we like our schedules. I'm not talking about like you do the exact same, like you, not for work, because that some people can't do it, but in a general thing, people like their routines. They like to do the same thing over and over again, and it's comforting because it's nothing crazy. And of course, people do go out and do different things, but there's certain things that you don't want to have the craziness all the time, because when you're younger, that's great. When you get older, you really like your routines, and when you do have a low impulse control, it also means, of course, you have less connection with others. You have a lot. I mean, low impulse control really. I mean, it can have it really can hurt you if you can't control your impulses, because it really is not healthy. It really isn't. Okay, you have okay. Those two don't make any. Those two have nothing in common. Just because you're in a monogamous relationship, and that one person, you know, doesn't match that. You know, you might be not comfortable at that point in time. Possible reason, or you find a different fucking person. You can still be monogamous. Those things have nothing in common with each other. There's no connection. You can still find that one person and find the right king. I know plenty of people who literally have actually made that, or they introduced it and they slowly worked into their sex life. You, but you have to work them up to it. You just can't you throw them in a deep end. Like just because you're a deep swimmer and they never really swam a whole lot before, doesn't mean you just take them right into the deep end and go, there you go, swim, bitch. You can't do that. You gotta work them into it. You gotta weed them in. You gotta break them in. It's kind of like shoes. This should be good. That's about it. Success. That's a mistranslation. Sex isn't everything in life. That's true. Sex isn't. Because you wanna know why? Sex is a very small amount of time. You're gonna spend more time with the person doing shit than having sex with them. Sex does have its place, but even just cuddling actually gives us the same amount of endorphins as sex does. Fun fact. Yeah, but more like you're not gonna do it as much because you have more people. So so the likelihood is much less. That just sounds weird. I don't know why. I don't know why I have such an issue with you. You have a primary relationship. I don't know why. I value relationships very much. You know, my friend. If you're my friend, I value it very much. You know, I value all my relationships differently, but I do take relationships very seriously. You know, you tell me you're gonna be my friend, then be my fucking friend. Don't say I want to be friends with you and you just don't fucking talk at all. That's annoying as shit. Because it just shows how fickle of a person you are. So you don't want to be friends, you don't be friends. You still want to hang out, we still hang out. We don't have to be friends. That's cool. You know, that's called being colleagues. You know, in office. You know, mates. I'm cool with that. But don't go. I want to be friends. And because you say I want to be friends, you don't put no work into it. It makes no sense. I don't know why people do that shit. It's annoying. Sorry, I digress. And he is right on that last one, actually. All relationships need work. That's true. Round the head. Ding! Right there. I literally just fucking said that. Again, right there. Another, you know, nail on the head where I just said just a little bit ago. That if sex is your primary thing, you're not really looking for a person to, you know, to tie down him. That's why we find relationships. If you're just looking for sex, that's not really a relationship. We like to say, and especially in today's day and age, we like to call it a relationship or an open relationship. Nah, you're just fucking casual. It's just casual sex. You're just fucking people. Just call it what it is. You wanna know why we paint it up? It's because we can make it look like, you know, better than what it is. No, it's the fact that, well, it's probably not healthy for you. First of all, it spreads more STDs and other bullshit. And that's why we have to do this, because, you know, it's like, oh, well, it's been happening. It's going on for so many years. But you know what? We need to change it, because clearly it's not working. How is it not working? Please tell me. I really wish I had more of these people, because honestly, it makes no sense to me. It personally doesn't. Personally, to me, it does not make any sense to me on why the hell would you want to change these things, or you know, again, call a duck, call a chicken. Don't call it a relationship when it's not really a relationship. You're just fucking people. It makes no sense to me. You know, you just don't go like, well, I'm looking for a job. You just don't go out, work a day at whatever it is, go home, next day you go to a different place. You can't do that. I don't get it. Just call a duck. Just call it a day. Just call it what it is and move on. Don't paint it up as, well, I'm in an open relationship. You're fucking people, okay? Let's just say you're having casual sex. Call it what it is, and we can move on. We don't care. But don't call it a relationship, because, you know, people, when you say relationship, it actually means you're together. You're not. You're just having casual sex. Just call it what it is. I'm actually kind of shocked by this, because it's perfectly fine if you're attracted to other people in your relationship. That's fine. Or you go, okay, you can admire beauty. And I might actually have the definitions, myself wrong. But it's perfectly normal and natural. I guess none of those things to where, well, you enact on it. I think he's bullshitting, but I give the guy credit. I'll give the guy credit. He might be honest. And if he's truly honest, I give the man credit. He really likes his wife. She's gotta be a hottie. That's the only way. I'm just kidding. Anyway. See, nail in the fucking head again. So far, she's really. I mean, she actually has been really nailing it. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, awesome. I'm glad we brought this one up. Yes, it is true. Survival and procreation. We are mammals. It's kind of how. I'm not going to go into the whole thing into it because I could. I'm just not going to. Not this time. Just we have. Anyways, yes, but we have this lovely thing. First of all, we have multiple. Our brain is much more complex than anything else on this earth. Anything else. We have a logical sense to think, to freely think. And you literally can have the ability to look at danger and just go, I don't care. And if an animal sees danger, it runs the fuck away. It goes, oh, this is danger. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to ignore it. I'm just going to go away from it. Not us humans. No, we're a special kind of breed of stupid. We see danger, we run head first into it. Some they have, of course, a reaction to it, and they go, oh, that's danger. I don't want to do nothing with it. And some, you have danger, and they want to go head first. And, and that's why sometimes you get yourself in trouble. That's what happens. So, yes, it is about procreation. And that's actually a good point in the poly end. That really is. That's a good way, of a defense part of it. That's a good point. Great point, actually. It's for I think I said that a little bit ago. It's like, back then for procreation, where men had multiple wives. You want to know why? Because one man, if he's healthy, he can impregnate multiple women in a single fucking day. A woman can only get pregnant once for 9 months, 10 months or so. I'm not a woman, so I don't know the exact start back up time again where she can give birth to another child. I'm not a woman. I don't know much about in that exact the amount of time. But man, he can have a lot of kids. He just he put them where he can put he can put them in there faster than they can come out. That's just how the male bodies work. So that's why that's why they said historically, that's why more men have multiple wives, but you don't see a lot of wives having multiple men because only one guy can be the father. That's why. Again, you can see other people attractive. You can go, oh yeah, that person's attractive. Yeah, that person's attractive. That person's attractive. You don't need to act on it. You can acknowledge that person is attractive. Okay. You can still be your woman, and you wouldn't want to be next to your woman and go, oh look, honey, that woman's attractive. You don't want to do that. That's couch talk. Okay, your ass will be on the couch if you tell her that. There's like a 90% chance, and unless she's super chill, she's gonna go, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, she is attractive. Or she just go, oh, she has nice hair. She's attractive. She has nice hair. Nothing wrong with that. It's all about action. It really is. well, yeah, we're all different fucking people. But here's the lovely thing about statistics, about the law of large numbers. We still have a general, we still have certain things about us that make us similar. Because if we all were actually 100% different, we would not be able to connect with each other because we'd be so different. No, it's because we have similarities and we're just slightly tweaked. But we have more, everyone has more things in common than we do have different. That's why. That's true. Yeah, come on, buddy. Let's have your. I'd like to hear this. Everyone, crowd in. I want to hear this. Yes, you are gonna sound crazy. Oh, now that's interesting. Okay, so yeah, so he values his wife a lot. That speaks volumes. Where basically he only has eyes for his wife. Like he has like he values her as a person so much more than anything else, to the point where actually it bothers him when he looks at other women. So that's interesting. That is. Yeah, this guy, yeah, he's beyond head over heels with his wife. Kudos to him. And literally, he goes, okay, yeah, she's pretty, and that's it. There's nothing else to him because uh, he truly has found like the pure, I guess like the purity of a relationship, to the point where she fully satisfies him and he has no need for anything else, and he values her to such a degree, and I commemorate that guy. You don't find guys like that often. You don't find guys often, but I mean there's definitely plenty of guys like that, but where they will always, sometimes will always make a comment or two, and I'm just gonna go off of what he's saying as truth, where he values his wife that much. That's very commemorative. Yeah, it's called impulse control, and again, it's impulse control. It's controlling yourself. It's like emotional intelligence, and actually in workplaces, emotional intelligence is actually more important than actual intelligence, because you can teach people shit. You can teach them anything. Really, people are just wells, and you just dump fucking water in there, and you'll just fill that up. I mean, it's an infinite well. You can just keep dumping it in there, and it'll just keep soaking all the information up. But if the well isn't structured properly, and let's consider that emotional intelligence, it's gonna leak hole. It's gonna bust out as soon as you hit. You put too much. You throw them. It's not worth anything. It's like a hole at the bottom of the well. It just leaks out. Emotional intelligence is like controlling your emotions, controlling your impulse control. Uh, like people who have issues dieting, it's because they have your low impulse control. Uh, that's why you see like top business people, uh, people who have a lot of impulse control, are attorneys and lawyers. Sometimes doctors, like people who are very successful in their careers, or just well-rounded individuals who are successful in whatever they're doing. It's probably because they have really good impulse control. Because when you have good impulse control, you can actually go, you know what, I'm not going to do this, or that's why you can be an overweight person. I've seen. I actually have a number of people who are diabetic and they were overweight, and they actually, because they just used to eat everything, and they'd be very impulsive, and they actually got themselves to train themselves to be not as impulsive, and also to of course watch what they're eating, and that helps with the impulse control, because uh, junk food and bad food, that just kind of that incentivizes impulse, and that's not good, and that's why you call it impulse buying. And people who impulse buy a lot tend to be poor because you don't got any money, but you just keep impulse buying. Uh, and I know I talk to a lot of my people; they're very successful. And you want, if you one of the keys to having money is having control of your money. Don't impulsive buy shit. Be very cheap and frugal with your money, and this way, if you can control your money and spending habits, you will be wealthy eventually. Of course, being smart with your money. Again, that's impulse control. Having control of your emotions and who you are and everything like that. That's very important. Again, I literally just talked about this whole thing about jealousy, not acting on it, and a bunch of other things. I'm not going to reiterate myself. It's all about control of yourself, and that's what's really about. Let's finish this up. Oh, this is a perfect question. This is actually one of the best questions they have. And quiz is at the end, but if you really now, okay, so we're gonna see these two walking. He's in an ease stance. Now we're gonna go to the other people. The one gentleman, I'm pretty sure he's gonna walk out. I'm pretty sure he's gonna walk out, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the two ladies on the poly side, and it's gonna be the one gentleman, and then the one Asian woman. I can't remember her name, but I think she's gonna walk. I don't think the redhead's going. That's my prediction. Mostly because it's fun. We'll talk about this. I want to hear what they say first. I was wrong. Well, okay, first of all, what a dumbass app. I just want to just say something. I'm sorry, ad. What a dumbass ad. What the fuck is primary partnership? Like, what the fuck is that? It just sound. I'm okay with design partnership. I don't understand primary partnership. That's just weird. Again, that's just weird to me. I don't know why. I just okay. again, more emotional things. So basically, you uh, if you don't feel connected with that person, then why you still with them? Because when you have that connection, uh, that strong connection, you know, even them being not being in different rooms will make you feel incomplete sometimes. There's some people who actually uh they actually feel bothered or uncomfortable that the partner's in a different room than or they're away. I know a handful of people to where they will their partner will kind of go out to visit other people and they will they will be miserable. I'll hang out with them and they're just downright they are just sad. I'm like, dude, calm down. I'm like, he is like he's almost at the breasts, and it's because when he's like, I mean, he's like that when it's insane. It honestly just mind boggles me when his partner is away from him. He feels just depressed, pretty much, and incomplete. Even just being away. They're still together. It's just they're out visiting with other people. It definitely makes you think. Because she says, I feel. It's funny how she says, I don't connect with that. What do you mean by you mean that you can't connect with people? That's what it means is she can't. More likely her primary partner. She can't connect with them. As I said before, it means that that person walked out. Literally just said, it's just like she can go home, and they walk out. More likely, it means that she's feels slightly hurt, and that's it. You know, terminology is very important, and she's using it differently than everyone else. What? I'll let her complete this. Maybe I cut her up too soon. What? What? First of all, for a healthy relationship, you should have two individuals. Uh, Again, all relationships are different, but you should be able to have a relationship with one person. Or yeah, I'm sorry. You should be able to have a relationship. If it's you with another person, and you should be individuals, but it's perfectly fine if you're. I mean, you can't be any less than a single person. That's not possible. You know. Yeah, again, it's basically them trying to hedge their bets, and this way they don't have to feel lost or rejected. It's basically hedging your bets in a relationship style, which again I disagree with. And if you break up with that person, yeah, you're not gonna be strong. You're gonna feel it. Both sides, you're gonna feel it. If you actually were connected. I thought they would actually have more to that, but they're not. So yeah, we just talked about that for almost 2 hours. So we basically just turned a 20-minute video into something 10 times long as that. Hope it didn't bore you guys to that degree. Here we go. See if anyone. Well, I don't really have much for you guys for anything else. So I think I am going to post this on my YouTube. So I guess for all my YouTube people, like, follow, follow for my Twitch, subscribe for my YouTube people, comment. Please let me know what you think. Disagree with me, and always, we always have a Discord, exclamation point Discord, or again, and Twitch, and we also have, of course, follow me in the. I also have a Discord because it's going to be posted as well on my YouTube. And with everybody, I think we're just going to stop here. So, thank you for listening. Have a nice night. And stay frosty, everybody.